This feels so much, it doesn't it have a like a throwback, like, oh my God.
It's
Remember
from a
when
time, for sure.
this was the only thing we did,
It
you know?
was how we gathered.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. Well, thank you, Chuck and Bunny and Stephanie and Karen and Jim for all being here. And I'll say what I always said during COVID. For those old enough to know what Wonder Room was, I feel like it's Wonder Room. And I see Stephanie and Dita and Jim and Chava and Carol and Roger. So, how are we doing on time? Oh, we have a couple of minutes left.
We'll turn on our camera once we're done eating.
Oh, don't worry about it. First of all, feel free to eat because we love people who eat. But also we know everyone's living a different kind of life. Welcome, Shelley and Ella. So good to see you both, or see Ella and know that Shelley's here. There you are. Hello. So I am feeling like all of these, ooh, oh no, but all of these pandemic memories, it's so weird, right? It's so strange, but I'm so glad we're all together. And I
It's
want to say
great. It's great that the staff has some time off, the
thank
facilities and the,
you,
yeah, it's so great.
I would, that's what I was just
Yeah,
about to say, like, thank you.
they need a break. They need a break.
Yeah, our facilities team is really like amazing, and it means so much that we have the kind of community that doesn't question, "Oh, okay," and when I shared that with some friends of mine who are rabbis, they were shocked that my community was willing to engage in that kind of experience, and I was like, "Well, we live Leviticus, we live good labor laws," you know? So thank you all. Really, on behalf of the whole professional team, thank you all for being willing to be here. We're going to start, I think, right on time, if that's okay with everyone. And Chava, do you feel ready to begin? I don't see. Oh, there you are. Okay, wonderful. So we're just going to say Hine Mato Umanayim Shevet Gam Yachad. Shevet Anu Gam Yachad. How good it is to all be together.
Hine ma tovu manayim shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet anu gam yachad.
That was so lovely. And so we have begun. And for those of you who may be newer on this, I just want to share. We were talking before we began the official service that this has some like pandemic vibes, but it doesn't. In other moments, this felt really like the pandemic, but I feel like we've moved beyond that and we understand better how to connect. I don't know why my camera is moving in all sorts of directions, but that's okay. But I want to say welcome to all of you who are willing to be here. And once again, thank you. By doing Zoom at the end of December, it allows us to give our incredible professional team and particularly the facilities team some real downtime, because if they know we are gathering in our building, they want to be there with us. And so thank you all for being willing to do this. And while I keep talking, I'm going to invite you, because we're all online tonight, so we don't have to say hello to the people online and the hello to the people we're near. But I'm going to invite you to say Shabbat Shalom in a private chat to someone either you don't know or an old friend you're seeing and you're so glad to see. Just like let's take a moment to wish Shabbat Shalom to one another. And I'm going to babble on for a little bit while you do that. Just wish someone here a Shabbat Shalom. And I'm going to just acknowledge that we are all doing this. It looks like everyone is here in the Pacific Northwest and even in Seattle to say, moment of gratitude for being here on coastal Salish land, particularly of the Duwamish tribe. And really, if something's not working for you, this has felt in the last couple of years like when we do these Zoom services, it's felt like we have to learn some of the ways to connect on Zoom. So if something's not working for you, I want to say a total deep-seated thank you to Jamie Schur, who is here. She is the logo there. And if you're having any issues, Jamie, I am pretty sure can help us. And if she can't, it can't be helped. And I want to say thank you to Chava Morel, who is here from the lavender capital of the Pacific Northwest. And Rabbi Ruth Slotnick, I think you know that. And so I think with that, we're ready to light candles for Shabbat. And so I'm going to light my candles here. If you have candles, please feel free to light them as well. And I'm going to ask Chava to unmute to help us bless the candles for Shabbat. It's on page 2.
And as you see the lights of Shabbat, you can start to take a breath in and let go of anything we no longer need to hold on to. Stress, anxiety, any worries of the past week, painful experiences. And it gives us space to bring in the peace of Shabbat. We can bring it in one time for ourselves, one time for our families, and one time for the whole world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And just by a show of hands, just so we know what we're dealing with here, and Jamie knows when we need to like share lyrics and when we don't. How many of you have, like me, a prayer book by your side? So we have several people who have a prayer book. Not everyone does. Oh, I love all the different ways we're showing our hands. And so we're going to begin. If you happen to have a prayer book on page 16, and this really this is such a beautiful psalm. This is one of the quintessential psalms of Shabbat. It says, Zamru ladonai bechinor, bechinor, bekol zimra. We want to take this moment in the darkest moment of the year, in what I might argue, except for Alaska, the darkest part of the continental United States, we want to take a moment, even in this darkness, to look within, to take that breath in that Chava shared with us, and to feel praise and to be able to sing. Zamru Ladonai Bechinor. We sing with instruments, we sing with our voices. And for those of you who are like me, maybe we just sing with our souls. But however we sing, it brings in the presence of the divine.
Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor, Beko Zimra. 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 Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor, Beko Zimra.
Mm, beautiful. Thank you, Chava. And with that, we're ready to turn to Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, I know, is on page 20, and I believe it's on page 138 of the thicker book. And so thank you. Let's keep the feedback coming. And if something strikes you, like some people don't like chat on Zoom, but if you do, let's get conversations going. Chava and I just want you to connect to one another and connect to the spirit of Shabbat. And that's what the Chadodi is all about. The Chadodi is about bringing in that presence of Shabbat, that incredible sense of feeling connected to something bigger than ourselves. If you want, for some people, we'll do as we always do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Some people like to rise. Some of you were around during COVID, and you know that I love my little Mikdash Ma'at, my little like sacred sanctuary here. And I love my little office chair. So I'm going to turn towards the door rotating on my office chair. But if you want to stand at any point when standing is required, please do so. This is, as it always is at Temple Beth Am, a choose your own adventure. There's no right, no wrong, just feel Shabbat in some way. Lachadodi, come, my friend. Let us, even in the virtual world, be a community who together invites the presence of Shabbat. Lachadodi is on page 20 or 138.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmiyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela. Hitoreri, Kiva orech umiori, Uri shir daberi, Kevod Adonai alai ikrita. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela.
Renee, maybe you're standing.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekavela.
Ava, thank you. You're just bringing that sense of Shabbat in, even though we're not together, and knowing that we're all joining our voices with yours, it feels angelic. So it's perfect that our next song is about bringing in the Shabbat angels who look in your home and see if there's peace there. And if there is, they say, may it be this way next week too. So make sure to create some shalom, some shlemut. Shalom Alechem is on page 24 or 142. Let's bring in those angels for Shabbat.
Shalom Alechem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi
comfortable, before we move into our evening prayers, I invite you maybe to close your eyes and to reflect on this, the last Shabbat of 2025. And in this calendar year, what was something that felt joyous to you? Think about that. And when you grab it, take a deep breath in, hold it close to you, and then exhale and let it go. And maybe think about something that was challenging in 2025 and take a deep breath in and hold that close to you too and let it go. And then let's take one more deep breath in this liminal space between one calendar year and another, and just celebrate who we are at this very moment. So we take a deep breath in and out. As we rise in body or spirit, whatever moves you on this evening for the Baruch Hu on page 28 and 146.
Ya lai lai, ya lai lai lai, ya lai lai, ya lai lai lai, ya lai lai, ya lai lai lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
And I want to say thank you to Chava, who wrote this beautiful setting for our prayer for bringing on evening, Ma'ariv Aravim. It's on page 30 or 148, or some other page perhaps for you. And I just feel like this is the perfect melody. Hanukkah ended on the winter solstice. We're in the big dark. And we know as Jews that the day begins in darkness. The day begins in potential. In the darkness, what is dormant is ready to bloom when the light of the day. Mariv Aravim, page 30 or 148 in a Chava Morel composition.
Ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bifaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokma poteach sha'arim, uvitfuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem baraki hakirtzono. Borei Yom v'layla,
if you have a book in front of you, please turn to page 33 or 151. My voice will be the voice we hear, but I invite you to say this prayer out loud, a variation on Ahabat Olam, the eternal love that God has given us through Torah. It's on the bottom of page 33 or 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and it gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, the one who loves this people, who wrestle with you and wrestle with one another. We'll hear more about that in a little bit. But now we move towards the Shema. And for some of us, we stand up and we attest to this watchword of our faith. Perhaps tonight you'll want to stay seated. However, you want to sing the Shema. Shema is really about recognizing we are all interconnected and interdependent in the one who has created us all.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
If you're standing up, I invite you to sit down and let's feel that oneness that permeates through us and beyond us and manifests itself in love. Love, door to door, from generation to generation. Hafta, our prayer about passing that love on, is on page 36 or 154.
And I'm just going to say one sentence about passing that love on, which is that you may have heard recently that the students who are studying for their Bar Mitzvah and reading Torah are singing Ve'ahavta with a slightly different melody than the one that is customary at Temple Beth Am. And they're learning it through the trope system that is helping them learn their Torah portion. So it's something that actually is the children are passing down or passing up to us. So every time we hear them chant, we're learning a little bit about like the actual trope system, and the one that we've been using is kind of a hybrid. So keep your ears open for our students teaching us Torah through Ve'ahavta. And this is what it sounds like. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha, Vishinantam levanecha, V'dibarta bam, B'shivtecha b'veitecha, Uvlechtecha v'derech, Uvshochbecha uvkumecha, Ukshartam leot al yadecha, V'hayu letotafot bein einecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha, Leman tizkeru, Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Vihitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liyot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks said, "To be a Jew is to be an agent of hope in a world serially threatened by despair." Judaism is a sustained struggle against the world that is, in the name of the world that could be, should be, but is not yet. And we learn that from our prayer for freedom, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God. So we take a moment to think about when we have felt liberated in our own lives and recognize that that is connected to the liberation of our ancestors. And we say, Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We bless you, the one who redeems us as a people who struggles with you. We struggle and we struggle and we struggle, and we find ourselves in the big dark right now, and we say, Hashchivenu Adonai, lay us down, O God, to peace, and let us rise up in peace. If ever there was a Shabbat that this was an appropriate prayer to sing, it's on this Shabbat, the last Shabbat of 2025. So please join us for our evening prayer, Hashkivenu, about bringing a shelter of peace around us, page 42 or 160.
I'm going to introduce this melody for Hashkivenu that my friend Eliana Light wrote during the pandemic. She heard the phrase shelter in place, and she thought Hashkivenu was shelter us in place, because we were all singing Hashkivenu from our homes, and we were hoping to be sheltered in these spaces, and that's how we are situated right now. So it reminds me of those times, and we're still asking for protection, whether it be from illness or whether it be from darkness or from fear. So just being together in this space helps to bring us comfort. Shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love, shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love. Hashkivenu, Ya Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, L'Shalom, Hashkivenu, Ya Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, L'Shalom. Shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love, shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love. Hashkivenu, Ya Elohim.
Well, that was a pandemic prayer. It feels so perfect for this Shabbat. So thank you for sharing that, Chava. And we turn now to the tefillah, the Amidah, the standing prayer, the central prayer. Some of you know I love this poem by Sid Lieberman, who was a storyteller of blessed memory, who talked about rolling up his sleeves, getting two little glasses of schnapps, and giving God a piece of his mind. That's what the tefillah is about. We use the script of our ancestors, but we use the tefillat halev, the prayers of our heart. We turn now to the Amidah, page 46. I will not stand, some of you will stand, and we all are rising in spirit. The tefillah is on page 46 and page 164.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakol Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechalkel chaim bechesed. Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umidomelach. Melech memit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
I'm going to offer us something a little unusual for a Zoom service, but it's something some of you know that I meet on a weekly basis with a rabbinic cohort. And the way we ground ourselves each day is on Zoom, each meeting. But we always take a moment to turn ourselves off of Zoom. So I'm going to give you a moment to complete your Amidah, whether with the words on the page or the words in your heart by yourself. So I'm going to invite you to turn.
You're muted, Rabbi.
So you have a moment, just you and the divine, in silence.
Ratzon Imrefi Ve'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri Ve'goali
I was having a technical difficulty there. So beautiful. So now we come, I think we're a small enough group that we come to the time when we say Mishaberach. And maybe if you want to share out loud the name of someone you're thinking about at this time of healing, maybe just raise your hand. I'll call on you and we can hear that name out loud. So we'll start with Carol and Roger.
Carol Seidel.
Thank you. Yeah, Ella
Um, Bob and Riley.
and Rebecca
Nancy Norman.
and Kim and Louie.
The Kaiser family and Kevin Salonen, our friends.
David, Shelley,
And Nancy Sapiro.
anyone else? Stephanie,
Jim and Rosalie Mushta and Andy Levine.
anyone else? I know this crowd who's here tonight, and I know we hold others in our hearts. So everyone we named out loud and anyone who we hold in our hearts, we say, may they have a refuah shlema, a full and speedy healing of body and soul. As we continue with Mishabelach, it is on page 253. And thank you, Jamie, for putting in the other number. Looks like it's 372.
Mishabera avotenu lekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu lekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Once again, may each and every one know a full and speedy healing of body and soul. And once again, I want to say to all of you who are here on the screen tonight, thank you. By being here tonight, by being flexible enough to allow us to have the Shabbat experience, we are able to also offer to our incredible professional team who give so much just because they care about our community. we're able to give them a little downtime during this holiday season. So really, it means the world that you're willing for 2 weeks in the year to connect virtually and to remember our pandemic selves. And I was actually looking at some of my past pandemic teachings, and boy, what a weird moment that was. I am so glad that it feels further and further away. But I will say, the beautiful thing about being part of the Jewish community and about anchoring ourselves in Jewish texts is that Jewish texts never uh, always provide for us. And so, once again, this isn't the first time in my rabbinate that Vayigash, this Torah portion that's like the most dramatic in the Joseph narrative, becomes the Torah portion just before the calendar year turns. This is, my friends, the last Shabbat of 2025, which for me personally doesn't feel as ominous as the last Shabbat of 5786, which is the Jewish year we're in, but it's still meaningful. It still has significance. And once again, we're in this beautiful Torah portion, Vayigash, which to my mind actually connects to the sacred beginning of the year, to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, because this Torah portion is the Torah portion about tshuva, about repair and repentance, that is maybe the most beautiful explanation of what it means to repair a relationship. Because in this Torah portion, Vayigash, we're in the middle of the best novella of the whole Torah. We have the whole like last third of Genesis is all about Joseph, but in this moment, Judah comes forward. Judah, I want to remind you, who saw that multicolored coat on his little Pisher brother, that's the only word I can think of, and wants to throw him in a pit, wants to hurt him, wants to like get him out of the way so that Jacob can love Judah. Judah, who like instigated the whole thing that got Joseph down into Egypt. Judah is the one who Vayigash Elav Yehuda. He drew near to this ruler in Egypt who he had no idea was his brother. He just took a step forward, a little closer, and he said, without knowing who the ruler was, he said, "Do not take my baby brother Benjamin as a slave. Please take me instead." And in that moment, Joseph realized that Judah had experienced teshuvah, the full repair of their relationship. He who was so angry so many years before threw him into a pit, tore apart his coat, sent him down to Egypt. And Joseph was so moved that Joseph said, Ani Yosef, I am Joseph. So, this one little act of Judah, just to draw proximate to his brother, whom he didn't know was his brother, just to draw near to his brother and to acknowledge that he couldn't let the wrong that the wrong that was his fault years before, he couldn't let that wrong happen again. And what happened was Joseph's heart melted. He saw his brother Judah and he acknowledged who he was. And both Judah and Joseph became their most authentic selves. I would say They became most holy themselves. They were like their most authentic selves, and they became most holy themselves. They became their most sacred selves. Vayigash Elav Yehuda. Judah just took a little step closer to Joseph. It wasn't a big move, it was just a small one, but it changed everything. It changed the balance of things. And what I want to tell you this evening is that what we don't talk enough about in Judaism is that teshuvah, that little step forward to repair what you have broken, takes enormous courage and bravery and strength. A small step that made a lot of change. For me, Judah and Joseph are incredible exemplars of the power of teshuvah, of the power of repair, which means we recognize we messed up, we acknowledge it, we apologize, and when the opportunity comes again to make the same mistake, we don't make that mistake. Teshuvah, I mentioned this on Yom Kippur, is different than mechila. Sometimes forgiveness is possible, sometimes forgiveness is not. Teshuvah is always available. And that's the beauty of having this Torah portion in this particular moment. We talk about teshuvah at Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but it also comes up. I don't know, maybe the rabbis were like crazy geniuses. It also comes up when we turn the calendar year on the Gregorian calendar. We talk about it when we see this incredible image of Judah and Joseph who make tshuva with one another. This is the reconciliation that human beings can make for themselves. Now, some of you were around a couple of weeks ago when we had the Svara team here. And so I'm going to quote again Rabbi B'nai Lappi, but I'm going to do that because I think what the rabbis recognized, the rabbis who lived 2,000 years ago when the temple was destroyed, what they realized is that teshuvah, repairing the damage we do with our actions, needs to be central to who we are as human beings. And that's because on a daily basis, we don't have to live in a very famous, dramatic moment. Just on a daily basis, each of us engages in brokenness. And on a daily basis, each of us can engage in repair. Let me just dig into that a little deeper and then we'll circle back and we'll be done because I know on screen it's a little different. But I just want to talk a little bit more about tshuva because sometimes the brokenness that we bring into the world on a daily basis, doesn't matter who you are going to break something tomorrow. You will. You're going to break a relationship, you're going to break something. Sometimes the brokenness we bring into this world is intentional. We consciously engage in acts that may harm others or ourselves because not in our best selves, we derive some kind of pleasure or reward from it. Let me use the example from this week's Torah portion. Judah, in the past, bullied his brother, pushed him into the pit, wanted to kill him, didn't, but sent him into slavery. And that must have been pleasurable for him in that moment. He intentionally hurt his brother. And don't we do that sometimes too? Don't we sometimes say a harsh word or not do something that we know may not help someone? Don't we sometimes intentionally get some pleasure from breaking the social fabric around us? I think sometimes that happens. Maybe we want to harm ourselves and we do something that we know isn't good for ourselves and we keep going forward. That's one kind of brokenness that teshuva can repair. There's another kind that I think is much more common. Sometimes we bring brokenness into this world unintentionally. We cause harm to others or ourselves, but we really, really don't mean to. So, like, we really intend to be good people. We think we're pursuing something good, but we do harm. In the last instance, I was able to quote Judah, who I think really purposefully got some pleasure out of being mean to his brother. This time I'm going to quote Joseph, who I don't think Judah was the only one who caused conflict in their fraternal relationship. I think Joseph thought he was like bringing beauty into the world and was sharing the love of his father when he kind of pranced around in that beautiful coat. He didn't mean for it to be something that hurt others, but it did. And I'm going to suggest to you that for us, for those of us who are just regular humans, I think most of the damage we do is in this unintentional place. Some of the damage we do is intentional. We just get pleasure out of engaging in vices or being mean to others or bullying others. That's not most of us. I think most of us want to convince ourselves, rationalize that we're doing something good. And then there's the third kind of brokenness that we can bring into this world. And this is the trickiest kind because we're seeking to do something good, and yet something bad happens from it. We don't know that that's going to happen. This would be, and I've quoted this before, I studied with a wonderful man who is a CPA. Um, Oh, my Simcha moment just left. We got a new dog, and so he just left the room. But I'll tell you about him in a moment. But I do think that even for those of us who try to be saints, who try to be tzaddikim, who try to do only good things every day, one of my teachers said, "Be careful of the consequences of your morally correct decisions." Joseph had a God given gift. He knew, he knew that he could help his family, and he shared his dream. And he really, I believe, did that from a place of goodness. But he caused harm because he caused jealousy in his brothers. I want to share with you a more modern version of that. I was looking through my books in my library in my study at Temple Beth Am, and I came upon a book that I had lent to a congregant in my former congregation. She was a really lovely young woman. She had two young children. Her husband was a police officer, and she knew that sometimes she drove and she was distracted. But on this particular day, she was very conscious. She didn't have the radio on, but she happened to be in one of those weird malls with weird parking lots. And while she was following the directions very carefully of the signs, a man walked across and she drove over him and he died. She was doing everything right in that moment. And yet her actions created this horrible experience. What I would like to suggest is that while she struggled with that experience, she didn't know what to do. And what I think for this last piece is what Joseph talks about when he sees that Judah has come full circle and made Shuva. I think that God's plan, as Joseph said, for all of us is so much more expansive than we can understand. The reason why the rabbis put Shuva at the center of the human experience is because sometimes we break things intentionally. Sometimes we break things unintentionally. And sometimes we do the right thing and still bring brokenness into this world. Teshuvah is central to what it means to be human. That is the key piece of what it means to be Jewish, to recognize that to be human is to be flawed. And so we don't just think about Teshuvah on Yom Kippur. We're instructed to think about it every day, certainly on this day. So I want to just remind you, for those of you who came a few weeks ago, Rabbi B'nai Lappi, and I also shared this on the High Holy Days, if you happen to hear it. Rabbi B'nai Lappi from Tzvara teaches that Teshuvah encourages us to ask ourselves, what stories have we been telling ourselves which are no longer serving us? What stories are actually causing us harm? What old stories am I telling myself about myself or my parents and my family, my child? What new story do I want to be a part of? And then I'll just share that she says traditions do teshuvah too. They learn we are not only their students, but their teachers. And I think the powerful thing here is that we can transform our tradition. And so on this Shabbat, the last Shabbat of 2025, may we learn from these two incredible brothers, Joseph and Judah, both of whom had to engage in teshuvah for them to have full reconciliation and repair. Teshuvah is not something that just happens on the high holy days. Our rabbis teach that every evening we should engage in teshuvah, to realize that to be human is to go out into the world on a new day and know that maybe we'll do something wrong and we know we're doing something wrong. Maybe we'll do something wrong and we think we're doing something good. Maybe we'll do something good and it'll still have a negative impact. But if we acknowledge it and name it, as Judah did with Joseph, Judah said, "Don't let me make the same mistake again, please, sir." And Joseph said, "Ani Yosef, I am Joseph." Teshuvah allows us to be holy and holy ourselves, to be filled with shlemut, with wholeness, and to be filled with kiddushah, with holiness. May this be your case in 2026. Aleinu l'shabeach continues as we see on page 282 or 586.
Yasher koach. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula liotzer breshit, shehu notesh shamayim v'yosed haaretz, umoshav yikaro b'shamayim ima'al, ushchinat uzo b'govhe meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od. Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
And so we turn now to a moment of memory. And I'd like to share this poem by Mary Oliver. It feels right for the winter solstice. It's called Starlings in Winter. Chunky and noisy, but with stars in their black feathers, they spring from the telephone wire, and instantly they are acrobats in the freezing wind. And now, in the theater of the air, they swing over buildings, dipping and rising. They float like one stippled star that opens, becomes for a moment fragmented, then closes again. And you watch and you try, but you simply cannot imagine how they do it. With no articulated instructions, no pause, only the silent confirmation that they are this little notable thing, this wheel of many parts that can rise and spin over and over again, full of gorgeous life. Ah, world, what lessons you prepare for us, even in the leafless winter. Even in the ashy city, I am thinking now of grief and of getting past it. I feel my boots trying to leave the ground. I feel my heart pumping hard. I want to think again of dangerous and noble things. I want to be light and frolicsome. I want to be improbable, beautiful, and afraid of nothing, as though I had wings. And so on this winter Shabbat, we remember these loved ones who have died in the weeks that have passed and the month that has passed. Fern Gershon, sister of Gary and sister-in-law of Lynn Marie, aunt of Micah and Meira. Esther Kaminsky, mother of Danielle Fiore, mother-in-law of Kyle and grandmother of Poppy and June. And on this Shabbat, we are remembering these loved ones whose yahrzeit falls at this time: Mark Applebaum, Gertrude Bessman, Gail Handon, Thomas Cantu, Nancy Conaway, Louis Courier, Judy Disman, Corinne Eisenoff, Diana Parker, Myron Funk, Sally Globman, Ruth Hampton, Beryl Hoff, Marcus Castleman, Samuel Kerner, Ben Kessler, Salar Khalili, Kenneth Kim, Adele Levy, Sheila McGrath, Grace Merrick, Irving Mervis, Jean Milder, Gert Morris, Esther Newman, Catherine O'Connor, Gerald Perkoff, Morris Plevy, Mona Rose, Edward Rosenthal, Bud Ruby, Bud Schaefer, Isidore Shapiro, Leonard Schulman, Louise Simon, Thelma Skaletsky, Joanne Steinbach, Kay Stellman, Kevin Wick, also known as Talason, Rosa Weiss, Sophie Ehrlich, Stephen Zabinski, Joseph Zeev. And if you'll raise your hand if you'd like to add a name to this moment of Kaddish. Yes, Carol and Roger.
My sister Carolyn.
Anyone else?
My dear friend Larry Lawrence Kilbride.
Thank you, Louie. Anyone else? Chava.
My friend Rick Katayev.
Thank you. Anyone else? If you feel comfortable rising in body, please do so, or in spirit. We continue on page 294, 598, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah. V'alma divrach hirute v'amlik malchute. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedachal beit Yisrael. B'agala uv'zman kari v'yamru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran bi'alma v'yamru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Zikronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. And so I'm going to begin the simcha because I'd like to introduce you. Wait. I know it. My daughter would be totally embarrassed. I'd like you to meet Abraham Joshua Chicknick, who is the newest member of the Chicknick family. That's what we call our family, Chikali and Zlotnick. I tried to get Richie to change our names, but no, it wasn't going to happen. But Abe is our newest canine member of the family, and what a joy it is. He's on probation still. We let him know that on a, hourly basis, but I think he's going to stick around. Anyone else have a simcha moment to share?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Ella and then Dita.
I, for many reasons, have had kind of a rocky road with my grandchildren. But we celebrated Hanukkah together last Saturday, and it was the best, most joyful, most sort of embraced time I have ever spent with my grandchildren. It was
So
truly
glad.
wonderful.
That's great.
About dedication, and it's interesting because Hanukkah and Chinuch are connected. The idea of educating our children and dedication. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Yaela. Dita, what's your simcha moment?
Well,
And then we'll come to you.
this past week, Shelley and I finished a season of studying, a semester of studying with Svara, and we studied the very first Mishnah of the very first page, which is actually the second page of
Right.
Talmud. And it's all about, it starts out, what time do we say the evening Shema? And as usual, it was a great class and we learned a lot. And we've studied that text before together. And every time you study it, you learn something new. So we had a great time.
Wonderful. Oh, that's beautiful. What a great way to conclude 2025. I see purple hearts. Okay, David.
Um, yeah, 3 years I'll be here in Washington State in February, and although I've walked and hiked through the snow in summer and spring and winter, a couple of weeks ago was my first time hiking and walking through a snowstorm, not quite a blizzard, but through actual snow up across the Quality Pass in that direction.
Beautiful.
Fun.
It was awesome, I'm sure. Anyone else? Something special to share, some simcha. Well, with that said, then I think we're ready to conclude. Should we do Kiddush and Motzi first, do you think? Or should we
Sure. Let's do that.
and then end with Oseh Shalom? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So if you happen to be like me and or Chava and have a little grape juice or wine near you, please lift it up and let's sing the blessing. And maybe for this one, we'll have Chava's voice alone, and for the Hamotzi, we'll have everyone's voice.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
And then I just have a little but it's someone else has a bigger one. And maybe we can make this cacophonous if you feel like it. But let's sing the Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem
So then I'm going to invite us maybe to go on mute one more time just for a quick Oseh Shalom. Then we'll go off mute one more time and say Shabbat Shalom to one.
Oseh Shalom b'romav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Thank you to Chava. Thank you to Jamie. Thank you to all of you who are here this evening. And so let's take ourselves off mute and just, have the cacophony of a big Shabbat Shalom to one another. So let me see. And even if you don't have your camera on, you can come off mute as we say, one,
Camera on.
three, Shabbat
Shabbat shalom.
One.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Hava.